That's right. It's time for Three Guys Before the Game. Welcome in, everyone. It's Three Guys Before the Game. It is our Backyard Brawl game recap. The crew is all assembled. The Hopster's here. He's got observations that obviously are obvious.
Obviously.
Senator is here. He and his staff have been working hard through the night to get the analytics as to what transpired on the field. We played extra football in the 108th Backyard Brawl. Played one of those overtimes. Mountaineers got 7 in the extra session. The Panthers didn't get any. As a result of that, West Virginia wins 31-24.
Did you title this All-Timer?
I didn't.
Because you could have.
Just said, I went standard Backyard Brawl game recap.
Fair enough. It was an all-timer.
It was an all-timer. Yeah. We'll get into all the details coming up. Three Guys Before the Game is brought to us by Jan Dill's Attorneys at Law. They won't take no for an answer. By Tudor's Biscuit World. Start your day the Three Guys way with a Tudor's biscuit. By the way, they got new merchandise coming out and a big tater that we're supposedly going to get a opportunity to taste.
They're bringing one of those in?
They're going to bring it in. Got to get a truck to bring it in.
Really?
Three Guys brought to us by Go-Mart.
How's that lemon?
Go for good times. Go for Go-Mart. Get that rewards card. Immediately begin saving on your food and fuel. By Lou Wendell Marine Sales. They got it all, man. Award-winning. They sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com. By Comax. Comax Business Systems. Keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, efficient for 25 years. They sell every kind of piece of business equipment in the world. And those water machines are nice. And by Conley CPA Group, providing value beyond numbers. And they'll be coming into play here soon with Spreads on Stats. And so, it's a little bit more than 12 hours after the game was completed. West Virginia defeats the Pitt Panthers 31-24. As Brad mentioned, you could certainly put this in the category of an all-timer. 62,108 patrons on hand to watch a football contest that lasted 4 hours and 15 minutes.
Ooh. Is that what it was? It was a four-hour game?
They listed
I didn't even realize that.
They listed, yeah, it did. That was a long one. 4:15.
Game was so good, didn't matter. Didn't matter. If you could have told me that was 9 hours.
Well,
Could have told me it was an hour and a half, too. Didn't matter.
Yeah, a lot of injuries during the game made it a little bit longer.
That's a storyline.
And one of those games where Brad and I were talking about, you couldn't look away.
No.
You could not look. So you had to go. You had to go to the bathroom at halftime, and after.
Sure.
Other than that, you couldn't go. You could not. It seems like every play was vital. It felt that way, Brad.
What'd we say last week? This is college football.
Yes.
That was college football. Mm-hmm. And I realize ESPN had its reasons for not coming. I get it. You didn't do your job against Ohio. Missed a hell of a story, boys. Missed a hell of a story there. That was unbelievable. The pregame, the environment in the stadium, and then the result and the game that played out. That's what that rivalry's about. That was an awesome college football game.
It was. This will be one, in my opinion, that fans just will never forget for a bunch of different reasons. And there are no right ones, there are no wrong ones. But from my perspective, firstly, you have the return of Rich Rodriguez against Pitt on the 13th day of September. Everyone knows that storyline. You add into it the fact that West Virginia had lost to Ohio University and everyone's dauber was down during the course of the week, that West Virginia came in as a touchdown underdog on its home field.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. And then...
Might have been a little fade the public situation, as someone said last week.
You did say that last week. And then add in the idyllic weather conditions surrounding the game Friday and said, like, you could not have asked for better weather conditions. So you put all of those elements together, and then, you go out there and you play one of the more dramatic games in the history of the Brawl and really in the history of that stadium. And it ends the way that it did. A couple of things that come to mind. Ben Lohman is my spotter, right? One of my spotters. He's a student. He's a sophomore at West Virginia. And, you lose track of time. And I said to Ben after the game, I said, how old were you when Rich left? And he said, 3. And he's 20 now. And I said, okay, this is West Virginia football under Rich Rodriguez. I said, that is it right there. This is what people have been talking about. What's this, Rich?
Yeah.
How did it? I go, that's it.
That's what it was.
It's bizarre. Yeah. It's electric. It's crazy. It's dramatic. It's unbelievable. And I said, that's what everyone has kind of been talking about. That's it right there. So for that whole new generation that had never felt it, they go like, oh, I get it. I'm in.
That's a good one.
And then for all of the older folks that have seen it, but there had been a 17-year absence, they go like, yes, that's it. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted, right? Because it had everything. It had drama. It had high ups, high downs, gut-wrenching plays. It had controversy. It had, what was that at the end of the first half? It had Pitt players taking dives on the field. It had Rich in his post-game press conference just going full out. I mean, that's the Rich Rodriguez experience.
Well, and that's very well said. And then to put that into encapsulate that, his post-game interview kind of brought that full circle on TV. He's on the verge of just losing it. Like, you could see how emotional he was. And then he flips the switch, and he was like Hulk Hogan. He was cutting a promo for WWE and like was pumping the fist and firing up and finishes with the God bless the Mountaineers and God bless West Virginia. I mean, it was an unbelievable, just like the game, like you said, a swing for Rich personally from the, and that was neat, right? That was neat to see him back with the emotion that everybody in the stands was feeling. He had that. That wasn't just a big win. That was a massive pressure release of a win in that guy's life, and you felt it and saw it, and we know what West Virginia fans react to. Well, it's that, right? It's that in those moments.
Well, think about this. So the emotions that Rich walked off the field with the last time he played Pitt 17 years ago, and the emotions that he had last night was the full 180-degree spin. Just think about that.
Sure.
He walked off in stunned disappointment 17 years ago, and he walks off in the highest level, the pinnacle of jubilation in last night's game. It's a full circle.
But now add that to the thousands that shared that same arc.
Yes.
Right? And we're three of them. I can tell you where I was in 07 and what I was doing right after the game. And it wasn't what I was doing after the game last night. So that, yes, heightened for him because it was most personal to him. But for thousands of the rest of us, we went on that same journey and that same arc as well.
Yeah. Hopster.
When we talked to fans, we talked to a ton of fans this week at BW3 and at Three Guys Tailgates Friday and Saturday. And a theme emerged, and that is still disappointed over the OU game. Who is going to what's the story with his team offensively? And can you be but you wanted to be hopeful. You wanted to be optimistic. And it made me think, how many times have you heard the phrase, hope springs eternal? And I looked that up. That comes from a poet, an English poet, Alexander Pope.
Was that Pope that wrote that?
That was Alexander Pope that wrote that. And it got to the essence of optimism of the human spirit. We want to be optimistic. We want to be hopeful, even when sometimes it looks like we shouldn't be. And I think that was the sense of Mountaineer Nation going into that game. And you're right, Tony, 62,108 showed up, were a factor in the game.
Made a difference, no doubt.
Made a difference in the game and got rewarded. And got rewarded for that. So that to me was a big part of fandom. That's why you're a fan, because you want to be optimistic, even in the face of
no evidence that you should be.
Or at least limited evidence.
Yeah.
And I know, Brad, you're going to talk about this. I'm not going to step on you. And one of the things was who's going to step up, and you'll get into that because there were those stories there. The second point is that, and you guys have touched on this, is Rich Rodriguez. He is an emotional person. He's an emotional human being. And that 2007 game created demons for him and for Mountaineer Nation. And some of those demons were cast out. Not all of them, because the stakes weren't as high.
Yeah.
Okay. But you cast out some of those demons yesterday. So good for Mountaineer Nation, but really good for him. Good for him. Because I think he really needed that. And we talked about beforehand, this game was what? High risk, high reward.
Mm-hmm.
High risk, high reward. And if it had gone another way, like it looked like it was going in the second half, boy, what would our level of disappointment be today? But you got a high reward. Congratulations to the Mountaineers and to Mountaineer Nation.
I'll start here where I finished Thursday's podcast with. We've talked about in this series, if you're going to win, someone usually emerges that you didn't expect. Who's the unknown hero that's going to be a legend when you talk about this game forever? Say hello to Ty Edwards.
Yeah.
What a day, man. You would have told me he'd get 25 snaps. I would have been surprised, let alone 25 carries for nearly $150 and 3 touchdowns. And he was, I know it's obvious based on the stat line, he was a difference maker, guys. As soon as he came in, he looked like he was shot out of a cannon. That was massive for Ty Edwards. So forever linked as one of the stars in this. And Nico was a guy who's a name, that's the other part of this series. There are also guys whose names we know, the Amoses, the Rasheeds, the Bulgers, the Whites, the Slaytons, that you know and have produced before that also etch their name in this history forever. Nico has done that. Yeah. That story arc's amazing, right? Coming out of the game, trying some other quarterbacks, looking for a spark. I know we'll get into that. And then the spark actually comes from Nico being reinserted. The spark Rich was looking for came from the starter coming out and being reinserted and leading those scoring drives late. First to get the field goal, then to get the touchdown at the end with a great pass and a great catch by Barnes. So to me, those two guys, add them to the legacy of when we talk about this, they'll be all-timers. Those guys are all-timers regardless of what either do moving forward. They will always be remembered for what they did in yesterday's game.
Guys, when we're at BW3 10 years from now and doing trivia, and the question is, who caught the touchdown pass with 11 seconds remaining to push the game into overtime?
That'll be a hard answer. It'll be Grayson Barnes. Yeah, it'll be a hard answer. It's a good question.
And Tony, props to you. I listened to the whole game. You were very emotional yourself. What does
that mean exactly?
You were very vested.
What does that mean?
You were very vested, and also I appreciate the fact you were sharing your opinions about certain things, which we'll talk about as well. That was a great throw, Brad, and a great catch. That was not an easy catch.
Put it in the only place he could put it, which was up top because the coverage was so good. Had a defender draped all over Barnes, and Nico put it exactly where it had to be. It was going to make it a difficult catch. Barnes went up and got it. And that's the other thing, guys. To me, it was a couple things. It was Edwards and Nico stood out offensively, but there are other great performances within that we'll talk about. And my God, that defense, guys. We'll get into the defense specifically with some numbers. That defense was unbelievable. And it started early when Holstein put the ball on the ground. We told you there was going to be some Holstein turnovers. You couldn't come up with it, but you saw early that this defense came to play. Yeah. Wait till I get into some of those numbers there that really should have turned into a West Virginia loss, but for that defense that absolutely, to use a hockey term, you're a hockey guy, stood on its head collectively.
Yeah, they did stand on their head collectively, is right. So a bunch of different things, and we can go a bunch of different angles, but one of the big things we've talked about since this team was put together, and we mentioned the 81 plus new players, is that we use a cliche, well, players have to step up. Players have to say, it's my job, get away from me, I'm going to take this thing, get out of here. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Nico Marchiol did that yesterday.
Yes.
So he went onto the field, and he showed Rich Rodriguez that I got this, I'm a winner. And Rich was absolutely just over the top in his praise in post-game radio with Jed down on the field about what Nico Marchiol do. He said that he is a freaking, stud. So it brought back memories to me. 4 years ago, this coming Wednesday, 17th of September, 2021, Nico's playing high school ball in Arizona. Plays Bishop Gorman. Leads them to an 18-point rally in the final 65 seconds of their game to defeat a perennial program nationally in Bishop Gorman. Mm-hmm. And we looked at that back then when he had already committed to West Virginia State. Look at this dude. Well, guess what? That kind of stuff does translate, right? He's a gamer. He's got a toughness about him. Now, is he the absolute perfect prototypical quarterback that Rich has used in the past that's going to dazzle you with his speed? No. But coaching is all about using what you have. But Rich will take this, his mental toughness, and they will now cobble this offense to do the things that he does best. And huge shout out to him. Remember what I said? I said for him to be impactful, he has to throw completion percentage, high 60s, if not 70s. What did he finish with
76.
Yesterday? 76. Now, he's not going to hit that every game, but if he can be 67, 68, 69, that's going to be winning football.
Including 9 of 11 on those
Yes.
last 2 drives.
And how easy, if he wasn't mentally tough, how easy would it have been for him to go out there and just be bad when he returned in the second
or to
half?
sulk.
He could have been a Debbie Downer, and you're done. Instead, he went like, all right, you take me out of the game, I'm going to show you a little something.
We've said this many times since he was on this podcast as a high school senior. When he came in here, he was visiting. He came in and he blew us away with his answers and his interviews. And he's continued to do that, whether he started and played poorly, whether he's won the game, whether he hasn't played. And you've heard he's A+ in his interviews and his approach to being the quarterback, right? He handles that as well as anybody you've seen. And I thought his answer last night in the postgame was just tremendous. He was asked, it was a question about mindset after he was taken out and then he went back in, and what did he do there? Did he talk to Scotty Fox before Fox went out to start the second half? And his answer was excellent. I mean, if that would have been a 35-year-old, 12-year NFL vet answering it, you would have said, oh, that's impressive. For a 22-year-old guy, it was really good. And he just said, listen, if you're a leader, you don't get to pick the times when you're a leader. You can't choose the times when you're either a leader all the time or you're not. And he said so. When Scotty went back out there, I was the first one talking to him, going through some things, just as he and Henderson are when I go out there. And it didn't sound contrived. It didn't sound like a throwaway line. It didn't sound like a line he read in a leadership book. It sounded like that's what Nico is. He said, don't get to pick when you want to be a leader. Thought it was a great answer.
Guys, and maybe you'll get into this too, Brad. I don't want to steal your thunder, but talk about players making a difference, and you talked about new players emerging. But, Tony, listening to your pregame interview with Rich Rod, and he was talking about I think he was about maybe the slot receiver being important.
Yeah.
And how about Rodney Gallagher?
Yep.
I mean, Rodney Gallagher had a game.
First play of the game, you remember? They went right down against the safety and hit a big 20. Was he Rodney get a 20-yarder on that one? Rodney had a really, really impressive game. It's a huge game for him. Right, sister went to Pitt.
Meant a lot. His mom, who's passed with cancer, he played for her, had a special decal on the back of his helmet. It's a group that— It's a great cause.
Yeah, group that helps out kids that go through traumatic loss, and he was honoring them. And he goes out there yesterday, and he gets on 8 targets. He catches 7 for 61. Got 30 yards after catch and makes some big plays.
Tied a career high in targets that he matched in the bowl game against Memphis. So that was good. You've been waiting for some Rodney Gallagher breakthrough here. As good of an athlete as he is, as highly touted as he was, that was good to see him make a difference yesterday. Defensively, again, a lot of guys you can go through, but how about our guy Eddie Vestorinen? 2 sacks in the game, and one of those boys, he just lined up. What did he say on here? He said sometimes you got to line up from the guy across from you and fight him and win it. And he lined up against that poor buddy and just pushed him straight. There was no help. There was no one coming. That offensive lineman wasn't distracted by anybody else. That O-lineman isn't going to like the tape review when it comes out.
His mom was here.
Yeah.
She flew in for the game.
Well, he was good.
His girlfriend was at
Buffalo Wild Wings?
No, at
food court?
Yeah, at the food court.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Didn't know
I didn't
that.
see her. First I've
She
heard of
introduced herself to you?
Well, she was with a group. I met her. We talked.
Was that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but his mom's here. And we haven't even talked about our other guy.
Okay, so I was going to say, speaking of international flavor,
Wow.
the straws basically had everybody over here, right? Ollie's grandpa watched him for the first time. Mom and dad were here. We saw them at Buffalo Wild Wings. They were awesome. Underrated play because so many other plays were big. But our guy making that catch in the back of the end zone on the snap that went to his right was absolutely huge. Game saving might be a little dramatic given where the game went, but at the time, I said to somebody I was standing next to, if West Virginia wins, that might be the play of the game because that turns into a safety, and then the air comes out of that stadium. And then what happens next? He not only makes the catch and saves you 2 points, then drills a 50-yarder. That was the drive that continued down the field. They got the horrendously stupid roughness penalty that backed them up. The kid came in late on the pile, tried to drill somebody. They flagged him for it, back it up, and they missed the field goal. Massive game play, big play in the game from Oliver Straw. Who had a great game.
Straw looked like a power forward going up and getting the entry pass.
Great play.
It was a tremendous play. And again, kind of overshadowed because of everything else that happened late. But it was.
He gets that athleticism from his mom, Joanne.
Well, there's no question.
The dad, Anthony, he's not giving him any of that athleticism. Anthony's just flying around in those airplanes. We asked Anthony at Buffalo Wild Wings. We did an interview with Oliver's dad, and we said, how many countries have you been in the last year? And I set the line at 13.5.
I think you set the line at 19.5.
No, first was 13.5, and he said, "Oh, over that." I said, 13.5. You've been in over 13 countries in the last 12. And he goes, "Yeah." And then I said, "Okay, new line, 19.5." And he said, "Over." And we went, "You've been into over 20 countries in the last 12 months." He goes, "Yeah." And then he texted us the next day and said, "Look, I hope I didn't get over my skis." And he sent us a graph. So he's got this 12 graph. And it exactly was 20 countries in the last 12 months, which lays claim to what I've always claimed, that he's an international spy.
He's not a spy. That's totally unconfirmed. Well, he's been to a lot of places.
Been to a lot of places.
Great play, big play by him.
Big play.
Justin Smith-Brown, right? Huge play.
Huge play. 56 yarder.
Did that matter?
From
And
Fox.
again, you win games like this, and there's
There's
we could
plays.
talk all day about guys make plays.
Guys make plays.
Guys make
You know,
plays.
Ben Cutter had a game.
Yes, he did. You lost Ashton Woods on a bad call, targeting. Don't even get me started. Three guys before the game getting ready for Spreads on Stats. Three guys brought to us by Jan Dills, a West Virginia-based company that does business and has clients in all 50 of our states. They specialize in helping you get veterans benefit claims and Social Security claims. If you or someone that you know needs help navigating the very difficult road of working for Social Security claims or veterans benefit claims, contact Jan Dills, attorneys at law. That's what they do, and they won't take no for an answer. Three guys also brought to us by Tudor's Biscuit World, over 70 locations. I tell you what, a lot of Tudors coming in for the game, a lot of Tudors as we record on Sunday, because they make their biscuits the homemade way, and that's the way you should start your day. And as I said earlier on, they got new flavors, honey sriracha, Carolina Golden Sweet Teriyaki, on those sauces. Got a text today from George over there at Tudor's. He said they got new merchandise coming out for the fall. Remember we had that balloting going on there earlier?
Yeah.
And they're going to bring us a big tater.
Yeah, get to that. What's the details on that?
I don't know. It's some kind of a big tater, and he said we're working on getting it to you guys. So we record Thursdays at 12:30. If you'd like to bring in a big tater.
Or they're welcome Sunday morning too.
Sunday,
that'd be
it's a little harder, but yeah, that'd be fine.
I didn't bring anything this morning.
That's okay.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's okay. Trust me.
I'm saving up for that big tater.
I ended the day. I ended the day yesterday like on an all-time bad eat. Like when I walked back into the house,
just crushed it.
They had gone to the game, so we had a huge bag of kettle corn. So I ended the day with like kettle corn, chocolate chip cookies, in no order, steak, potatoes, just like all at the same.
Did the same. So distracted by the game action, didn't really eat for the entire time. Got home and just was like I was raiding the closets.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So I won't criticize you.
All right, let's do this thing. It's time for Spreads on Stats, brought to us by Conley CPA Group. They do provide value beyond numbers. The Conley CPA Group. They help businesses. They walk with you and give you the best advice possible to make sure that you're doing the best job allowed when it comes to tax liabilities and everything that goes with it. They're full-service public accounting, and they offer remote accounting for your business, which is real nice, we think. Remote accounting, also they can remote in and provide CFO services as well. It's Conley CPA Group. All right. So the numbers that the senator uses, some of these services are grading as we speak. Some of them are in, so the grades change a little bit as the game, it takes on a little bit longer time. Did you have any like mouth opening, agape numbers when you started taking a look at this?
Well, I'm going to dive into a bunch, but I think this was one of those games, and we say this a few times a year, and I'm going to start where we normally start, where we review what we talked about Thursday, because I thought this was one that hit most of the points we said, all right, if West Virginia's going to win, here are some places to take advantage of them.
Right.
A lot of those came through. So let's dive in. First and foremost, we led last week with biggest test of the year for Pitt. They had a strength of schedule that was 113 out of 136 teams. We said, how are they going to handle this environment? It's going to be bonkers. I thought a lot of this was contributed to the defense, but the environment mattered. I thought they looked off early. We said that in Cade Bell, the offensive coordinator's first 15 games as OC, they had only scored on the opening drive 3 times. And that wasn't my stat. That came from Chris Peak at Panther Lair. that came to fruition, Hob, right? That first drive of the game, they were out of sorts. West Virginia set that tone early, and if you're going to pull an upset, you got to start fast and keep that crowd into it. They did, which led us in to the second part of that where we said Holstein is a turnover play machine. There are turnovers coming. And it was a guy that, I mean, you saw the talent on display. He made a couple throws that you just went, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But if you went and looked at those underlying numbers, even to the first 2 games, he had 8 touchdown passes, but had more turnover-worthy plays than he had big-time throws. You could tell it was ripe for some turnovers. He put it on the ground, not a pick, but he put it on the ground in that first possession. KK Tarnu just couldn't pick it up. Otherwise, you would have been off to an even hotter start than you were. We said not only we said he would throw a pick. Not only did he did in a massive situation. Down in that red zone, pick in the end zone by Darian Lewis. That was huge. Said last year Pitt opponents had more dropped interceptions against him than any quarterback in the country.
Mm-hmm.
West Virginia had the 1 pick. How many did they drop? There were a couple more that
Tarnu
they had
at
in
the
their hands.
overtime, yeah.
Yes, correct. So it could have easily been a 3-interception game, and he put the ball on the ground multiple times, fumble-wise. So he finishes the game with 1 big-time throw, 4 turnover-worthy plays. So that came to fruition, and again, credit to the West Virginia defense because he was uncomfortable almost all night.
Yes.
A lot of that came from what we talked about Thursday with Pitt's offensive line. They had really struggled. We thought West Virginia could get pressure. Did they? 25 total pressures as of now, and you're right, those numbers change and mature. 6 sacks. You add in 3 pass breakups, the interception, 8 tackles for loss total. That's a heck of a havoc day, guys. Those are havoc stats. West Virginia, I thought defense created it all day. They were just simply outstanding.
Who had going into the game that West Virginia's defense would have more sacks than Pitt's defense after the way the offensive line played against Ohio University?
It's a great point.
6-3.
I mean, Zach Alley let him go.
And Darian Lewis, to your point on that interception, post game, he said, that's Coach Alley. He said he knew exactly what was coming, and he said, okay, here we go. So he said, yeah, it was him.
He was right there. We talked about West Virginia's run defense coming into this game was top 10 nationally with just 0.1 yards before contact per attempt. You just haven't been able to run the ball against West Virginia. Hoppy, guess what didn't happen yesterday?
What didn't happen, Brad?
Pitt didn't run the ball either.
47 yards?
Reed non-existent for the second straight year.
Was he hurt?
Yes.
Yes, but wasn't effective when he was in, right? 1.4 yards per carry on the day for Pitt.
Wow.
Guys, 1.4. And I know that's an offense that wants to throw it more than run it, but we said the other day, limit that run, make them one-dimensional, crank the pressure, turnovers are coming. Zach Alley's defense and those guys did exactly that.
Holstein killed you with his late runs in last year's game. His long run this year on 14 carries was 8 yards, so he never was able to get down the field.
Thank you. Very next line here. Holstein last year scrambled for 86 yards, 67 of those coming in the final 2 drives of the game where they ultimately got the win, right? Yesterday, 13 scramble yards combined on the day. You pressured and contained. We said you were going to get a similar look to Navarro, but that he wasn't as slippery as Navarro, and you handled it just like you did in the second half of that game. Some more numbers. This one still blows me away, guys, because this just doesn't happen. Given the turnovers West Virginia had, it led Pitt to a 13-yard field position advantage. And you've heard me, if you listen to this show, we talk about if you're plus 10 yards in field position advantage, you win like it's 92 or 93% of the time. And so that's a stat, if you watch during the game, the score usually catches up to what the field position does, or the field position gap will close as one team starts to overtake the other. This, you knew you were in some trouble with those short fields, but West Virginia's defense continuing to stand up in those short fields and either force field goals or no points leads you to flip a number that has a 90+% win percentage.
Yeah, because their average start point for Pitt was their 39. West Virginia was 26. And you say 90+% of the time you lose when that happens.
It's plus 10 yards is the number you're trying to get to there, and that plus 13. That's an outlier there that you win a game given them the starts where they did.
And there was a point in the game, this isn't a final, but a point in the game where Pitt had been inside West Virginia's 10 3 times and got 3 points.
Correct.
Yes.
I mean, So again, it's easier to quantify individual offensive performances, which is why so many of the stars of this series, we talk about our offensive guys. You cannot mention this game, and you shouldn't moving forward ever without talking about this defense. That was an unbelievable performance against what has been and can be a really dynamic Pitt offense. So they were just tremendous. And there were other little plays in there defensively, and one of them I thought, guys, that was big. That end of the half big pass play that they got. That's one of those that you just feel like when that happens at the end of the half, those aren't good signs, right? Those are games you usually end up losing. And I thought KK Tarnu staying with that play and pushing him out of bounds before it turns into a touchdown, it would have been easy to give up on that play, to get yourself blocked, to not hustle and knock the receiver out of bounds, Hoppy. But Tarnu stays with him. And they don't get the 6.
Right.
First and goal from the 6, and they can't get 6 out of that, and they have to settle for a field goal. That's one of those hidden points in there that you save. You gave up a big play, but you didn't give up a touchdown off that big play. That was tremendous. Back-to-back interceptions in the second half. One drive started on the West Virginia 14. The other one started on the West Virginia 24. Pitt only got 6 points total out of those 2 drives. 8 plays, minus 8 yards combined on that. So it's funny how sports works. We say a lot of times in these rivalry games, things work out. And I said last week, West Virginia has to be the recipient of some of the weirdness that had been happening in this series for Pitt. And this wasn't necessarily weirdness, but things flipped where that was the stat we gave last week, Hop. 3 interceptions for West Virginia. It ran 9 plays, minus 7 yards out of those. This week, I just gave you a totally flipped stat, and it turns into a win. Last year, you can't close the deal up double digits in the last few minutes. They end up getting the win. What happened this year, Hop?
Well, you scored late. It flipped. You scored late, erased the deficit, won the game. Put together those 2 drives in the last 5 minutes.
These are good numbers so far.
Yeah, that's really the bulk of it. Those are the ones that jumped out. I could do it forever, and there's certainly grades we can talk about. But
individual players?
Well, you want to make some guesses because
it's fresh tape.
You'll be able to get them.
Perry,
Ty Edwards.
Yeah, let's go. Offensive grades. I mean, start of the game. Ty Edwards is your number 1 graded offensive player. Gallagher 3, Grayson Barnes 6, Nico 7. I mean, guys you would expect to be up in the top. I thought this was interesting. Cam Vaughn graded out really well for a game where he just was. Man, that coverage was tough. Man pressing him with the safety rolled over on top, and there were times when Nico would drop back, that safety would just turn and run at him, and he had 2 guys running with him. So it's a guy you want to get the ball to. There was just not a lot of opportunities to do so.
But yeah, and even though it didn't go to him, huge interference call that he drew.
Huge, yes.
Huge call because of his presence, right?
It didn't count, but how about the play when it was blown dead, and I think it was Henderson just ended up throwing the ball up on the near sideline to the press box.
Just chucked him.
And the guy and Vaughn and the defensive back thought it was a live play, and Vaughn just elevates up and picks the thing out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't count, but a great play. So that was some of your offensive guys. Just, I mean, again, no surprise.
What about on the offensive line for West Virginia? Anything early?
Just work to do.
That's your way of saying you don't want to crush anybody.
Work to do, and I think you saw.
You say efforting?
Early.
You say efforting?
Efforting.
Yeah, they're efforting.
The line's efforting. It was interesting. You mix some of those backups in, but mostly in that wild jumbo. I don't know what you call it. How'd you describe that?
9 offensive linemen.
9
offensive linemen.
That was great.
A classic Rich.
It was great.
Classic Rich.
Yeah, I love seeing that.
By the way, you got a break on that touchdown.
I called it a touchdown. What do you mean?
No, the one was a touchdown. One of those offensive linemen that was lined up in the backfield left early.
May have gotten a good start.
Yeah,
may have gotten a good start.
A good jump on the ball.
May have.
Yeah.
Got a little break
the
there.
boys in stripes missed a couple along the way, so I think you were due.
They had a rough day overall.
You were due.
They had a very rough day.
Yeah, they did. We'll get into that.
I think that's the bulk of the numbers there. I mean, that tells the story on a lot of that, but just a tremendous day. Defensively, again, can't keep saying enough about how that defense stood up. That field position advantage is remarkable that you won that game and held them to those
odds.
points.
Yeah.
Totally defied the odds.
And doesn't that really fit into what the fans have come to expect from a Mountaineer football team, right? And from a Rich Rodriguez football team. Hard-nosed, play through the entire game, and make some plays defensively, And I think we'd gotten away from that. Last year, we know what it was. And this is a whole different scene this year with this defense.
Yeah, and so let's use this statement that we oftentimes use when you don't get the result that you want, and I'll use it again. It's never as good as you think, and it's never as bad as you think. It is always somewhere in the middle. So last week we were in the depths of depression. I mean, I personally was. My wife left the house last Sunday.
What, really?
She just left the house. She went in the backyard, started doing that garden thing. She goes, dude, been married to you long enough. I know.
Just leave you alone.
You're just going to be miserable. You don't want to talk. So I'm just like, I'm going to go out here and just take care of stuff in the grass. You just go ahead and be miserable.
She knows you.
And it bummed me out. That was a crusher last week. And it was tough to say last week that it's never as bad or ever as good as it is. It's somewhere in the middle. It was tough saying there was a middle after last Saturday. And I'll say the same thing this week. There's still obviously a ton that this team has to improve on. But what I think that win gives you is, to use a hot water tank analogy.
Okay.
The pilot light is lit.
Mm-hmm.
There's a light there. There's a light. We have a light. We have a spark here. And now you're going to be able to grow from that. But last week after the loss, you said, like, man, I don't see no pilot light on. I'm really, really worried. This team's going to go. What did ESPN say? They're going to lose the rest of their games after last week?
Oh, I don't know.
It was like something like that.
Whatever.
So at least, I don't know how many they're going to win this year. I don't know how the thing's going to play out. But I do know this. The culture and the hard edge that Rich has preached to these guys, they experienced it yesterday. And those are the kind of things that permanently brand every player in the program, going like, oh,
this is what you meant.
This is what you meant.
Yeah.
And Rich gave me that in the pregame interview.
Yes,
he said, there comes a time where the players have got to trust what it is that we're telling them. And once that happens for them, then they go, oh, right? The proverbial light bulb comes on. So I do think that game last night taught those guys what they were preaching. And we had Owen Schmidt barge into our box. I mean, I don't even know where he came from. Don't know if he had a credential or anything on there.
Who's going to stop him?
Yeah, no one's going to stop him. But that's exactly what we talked about after the game. Owen said, like, that right there makes everyone go like, oh, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
And so going forward, who knows? Kansas is going to be a whole different challenge, the whole thing. Got a lot of tough games. But at least those guys tasted it, and now they know what it is.
Last number I'll give you, and I mentioned this, Hoppy, in the open here, the betting line we like to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Total closed at 55.5. What was the final score of that game?
31-24.
Amazing.
Close one. Line, and I used the term last week that I got from a buddy of mine that follows us that texted me. He said, geez, they're betting this game like they know the final score. That thing was 2.5 for a long time, went to 4.5 after the loss, jumped to 6.5 after the injury news was announced, eventually climbed to 7.5 by the time yesterday. And there's a reason fade the public is a term you've heard, and the public just got this one wrong. It looked too easy to take Pitt, and Hoppy got that home dog at 7.5 points there. Congratulations to all of you that
holding tickets,
rode the Mountaineers.
Holding tickets.
Yeah, congratulations, that cash.
Well, you if you got to go into overtime, you like the fact that how you got to overtime, right? Because you felt like you were just and I think getting the ball first was good too.
Yeah.
I know you usually don't like that, but you just scored twice and you get the ball and you immediately get a touchdown. I just thought that was important.
Getting it first is great if you get a touchdown too, right? Like you never know that ahead of time, but when you get that touchdown, you talk about the pressure ramping up on the other sideline quickly. When you know you've got a score and your defense can pin it back and come even more. I thought Rich had some great play calling there late. Once some of the running game was working, and then it allows you to open the playbook. Those couple fake reverses right there.
Yeah.
Credit Pitt, because they were not fooled. I mean, had you pitched the ball to the guy on the reverse both of those times, that's a big time loss. But it just created some confusion, and then the rollout and the hit. I thought he mixed it in well there late. So that play calling came along too.
Someone asked or wondered out loud, I think it was during our broadcast, would Rich go for 2 when they scored the touchdown with 11 seconds to go? And Rich says, absolutely not, because I like my chances every time a game goes longer because I think our physical conditioning will take over. and it played out to
Yes.
be true.
And at home, right? One of the old adages is you play for the tie at home because you've got the crowd. On the road, you try and get the win and get out of there. So that it managed it great. And also just the last couple of drives I had somebody ask me why you don't go for it when you're down the 2 scores there late on that 4th down. Absolutely the right move. Like, kick the field goal. You need 2 scores anyway.
Right away, so
take it and then come back with the other drive. So managed extremely well at the end of the game too.
All right, Spreads on Stats brought to us by Conley CPA Group. 3 guys before the game brought to us by Gomart. Kickoffs are worth cheering for, and so are game day Saturdays. You get triple rewards points every Saturday during the fall. Every Saturday, triple rewards points. So I hope you have your app. If you do, check into a Gomart on a Saturday and get triple the points. Snacks, drinks, gas, you name it. More points, more savings, and there's more excuses to get some doggone nice treats. Visit the Gomart app, gomart.com, to learn more. Download that.
Real quick on this, can I throw something in? Real quick.
Yeah.
Real quick. I said to mix in a water. That was one of my last advices last week. I said mix in a water this weekend.
Yeah.
Had somebody bring me one from Gomart down in Elkview. Have you seen these things?
Yeah, well, the alkaline in them or
No,
something?
they're like a keg of water. They're like a keg. You get them all over, but this one came from the famous Elkview one. I mean, they're massive.
What's the straw look on that thing?
It's just
Small piece of garden hose?
no, it's just there's no straw.
They gave it to you.
We had brought it up just as a might need it.
Speaking of water, 3 guys before the game brought to us by Lou Wendell Marine Sales. When it comes to boating, we suggest the folks that have been doing it for 40-plus years. Award-winning Lou Wendell Marine Sales, located in St. Albans. They sell the finest pontoon boats available, the Avalon series, made in the great United States in the state of Michigan, plus those G3 John boats. Anything you need when it comes to marine sales and service, it's Lou Wendell Marine Sales. Visit them at LouWendellMarineSales.com. That's LouWendellMarineSales.com. And mention Oliver Straw's dad being a spy. When he goes out and does his spy stuff,
He's not a spy.
I think he does. He travels in pontoon boats when he goes over those 20 countries in 12 months.
Incredible.
Kidding me? Yeah, he's doing something. I mean, he's doing something. I don't know exactly what it is. He told Hoppy, asked him what he did. He said, "I'm a greeting card salesman."
Classic diversion technique.
I don't know that he's that either.
Yeah.
I met a dude at the food court this weekend who truly was a spy.
Excuse me?
What?
Mm-hmm. Seriously. NSA spy. You probably talked to him. Yeah. And I showed him where Oliver's dad had been. And he kind of raised an eyebrow when I said he's international spy. He goes not been in Africa enough. So apparently a lot going on in Africa. So Ollie's dad might not be the full Africa spy.
I thought he worked Europe and Asia.
He does. But the guy that was the NSA guy, he knew exactly, you got to, yeah. I said, Oliver's dad was in 20 countries in 12 months. And I think he's an international spy. And the guy from the NSA goes, yeah, probably so.
Now, unconfirmed all the way around.
Now we're going to have, at our next 3 Guys tailgate, a couple of guys in suits and sunglasses show up and start asking people questions.
Just asking, just saying. I mean, 20 countries.
Gets around.
Gets around, man. Time for Textual Healing, brought to us by episode800.com. That's our place where we sell our merchandise, all of our fun stuff, our gear, our coffee, our popcorn, trinkets, car batteries, camera tripods, roofing shingles.
No.
Cars. I think we're getting into cars now, too. We're going to sell vehicles on episode800.com. Just take a look. Might have a car or 2 out there. All right. So, as you can imagine, hundreds of texts. And I went in early this morning and started to parse through these things. And so not everyone's text will be used, but the general theme of the text will be conveyed. And thank you all very much for texting. It's kind of funny, especially with games that go into the night. The drunk texts are great because the same number will text 5 times. And you can just see it trickle over the course of there's one, and then at 40 minutes later, then an hour and 20 minutes later.
Spelling gets worse, too, usually.
Spelling gets worse, and then apologies come. Like the way it ended last night, a lot of apologies at the end. They're fire and brimstone in the beginning, and then it dissipates.
That's okay. The text line is it's not Hoppy's old Steam release there, but it is healing, so that happens.
I had a text last night. It said, you need to go do a 3 Guys right now.
Yeah, Pam. Pam texted us and said, go into the studio right
now. No, we'll do it tomorrow. Yeah.
First off, shout out to Arnold, the bus driver.
Excuse me?
Arnold.
What's Arnold doing?
You know Arnold, the bus driver.
Well, sure.
So he called me Friday, and he said, yo. And I said, yeah. He goes, put this on your podcast Sunday. I said, what do you got? He goes, West Virginia wins. Mark it down. And don't forget to give me my due when it happens. I said, okay. So he called me this morning as I was driving in just to make sure.
Yeah.
And he said that he was, so he's the bus driver, Arnold the bus driver, has hauled the Mountaineers for 1,000 years. But he had a water polo team that he was carrying last night from
Excuse me?
high school water polo. He had like North Allegheny's water polo team. They just played a big match against a school from Connecticut in Erie, Pennsylvania. He was bringing them back from Erie. And so he plugs his computer through the bus so the kids could watch the West Virginia Pitt game. And so they're North Allegheny kids, right? So they're all Pitt kids.
Sure.
And they were giving Arnold the business.
Uh-huh.
And then the tide turned.
Uh-huh.
And you know Arnold.
Arnold probably didn't say anything to him. Probably
Arnold
just kept quiet.
Arnold doesn't hesitate. Arnold probably took that one. You know that button. All those microphones have those buses.
Yeah.
I just want to let you know finally. So shout out Arnold. Dan from Parts Unknown, in-game text, fourth quarter.
Good parts unknown.
Things not looking good. Hard to get a read on any of the quarterbacks because of the line play. Ouch. Having said that, I would like to concentrate on that snag that our boy Ollie Straw had during the punt early in the game. Are you kidding me? Awesome, Dan. Yeah, well, he did not text after the game was over. Muncie in McDowell County. The win over Pitt isn't just a victory. It's a statement. For the first time in what feels like forever, we're seeing a team play with heart, grit, relentless effort. Coach Rod's staff, his squad refusing to quit, kind of energy that reminds us of why we do bleed gold and blue. Finally, there is real hope that we're climbing back to the level West Virginia fans have expected. Future feels alive again. We're not just watching a game. We're witnessing a resurgence. Texter, gentlemen, this is a good one. Gentlemen, this is Scott in Stafford. About 10 months ago, my account got hacked by an individual angry at Rich Rodriguez. That person sent several texts denouncing him and his hiring. That person was an absolute idiot. For the record, I have always supported Rich Rodriguez, and I'm thrilled he is back. Thanks for letting me correct the record.
Very good, Scott. Welcome back.
You're in, Scott. Series of text from Greg. This is a series of text. Going into overtime, please inform Coach Rodriguez I'm not 20 anymore and my heart can't take these types of games. Come on, Ears, let's get it done. Another Pitt player down. Last text from him. I'm in tears. What a game. Yeah. Texter, Lindbergh from Lucado. Heroes are made in the backyard brawl. So who's your hero? I nominate Ty Edwards. Greg in Stewart, Virginia. I knew it was going to be a good day when the woman at Tudor's handed me my biscuit and said, these are fresh and hot. A few thoughts on this game. I love college football, and it's a flat-out crime that all games like this are not protected. Geographically is what he means. Why aren't you playing these games? This team may not have all the talent we'd like to have, but they play with their hair on fire, and that deserves our support no matter what. Our defense filled with absolute dogs, Zach Alley worth every cent. No question that this is Nico's team. Snap the ball to QB1, let's go. Tony, you had several opportunities to use Mountaineer Mash, and you did not use it. We need an explanation. When they went into the tush push.
What was your reasoning there?
So my reasoning would be, it's a fair question. I just thought it happened so fast. It's a split second, and I hadn't properly defined what Mountaineer Mash was. So I just went tush push just because I think people get it. But going forward, like if there's a time and a stoppage before they go, then I will, okay, we're going to call this Mountaineer Mash. All 11 players are together in a human circle of humanness. But you're right. This is a very heartfelt one. Rob in Cincinnati. I lost my dad last year. He finished every marching band pregame with Beat the Hell Out of Pitt. He would have loved this. Hope my kid talks about this in 2075 like I talk about watching Bill McKenzie on ABC. So many Pitt memories. That's what it's all about. And, Tony, it is a great night to be a Mountaineer, Rob in Cincinnati. Speaking of Bill McKenzie, I gave him, his daughter, his brother, and Bill's friend from Arizona a tour
Really?
up in the press box before the game.
That was good mojo.
Yeah.
Yep. So we had Bill there, royalty. I introduced him to everyone in the. This is royalty,
Yes.
royalty.
Mm-hmm.
And Bill's friend John, who lives with him, and they live together, or not together, they live in Arizona. They're buddies out there. John had come to the game simply because he loves college football and said, I always wanted to see a backyard brawl.
Oh, he got one.
40-year season ticket holder at Tennessee, John is.
They had a pretty good game yesterday.
Yeah, they
too.
did.
They did.
But he said, I always wanted to see a backyard brawl. And boy, he got one. I bet you he is thrilled and elated. Texter, hey, three guys. Love listening to Tony on the call as I had it turned on to the TV. Hopefully this one will shut the Rich Rod haters up, give him time to develop his team. My 3-year-old had a stroke back in January, and I didn't know if I would ever have the chance I did tonight as me and her were together screaming from Hokies territory in our living room in Pulaski, Virginia, as we watched our favorite team beat the ugliest team alive. Here is a video of me, her training her right up, looking to go on to the next one. So we had a little clip of video, got a darling little girl here. There she is, and Daddy was teaching her all of the Pitt stuff. So thank you very much
Bless her.
for sharing that, and they were screaming there at the TV.
By the way, Hokies got some problems.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. They got, boy, I mean, you talk about.
Sorry.
No, you're not.
I mean,
nobody
worries about us when we have problems.
Brad, I've adopted your strategy about that. Like, hey, welcome.
Wow. Old Dominion.
Next.
Texter, anybody say how many Pitt players got transferred to WVU Medicine's Ruby Memorial Hospital? They got hit with the injury bug pretty hard and at big momentum swings. Must be a coincidence. Big W for the world champs. I can see why the head referee of that crew last week quit. Pretty bad officiating.
Can we go ahead and talk about that?
Let's go.
So, on the injuries, and we've been over this, but to restate, here's what the rule says. If the player presents as injured after the ball is spotted by the officiating crew for the next play, the player's team will be charged a timeout. If a timeout does not exist, a 5-yard delay of game penalty will be assessed. Of course, the key is that how did they get around that, Brad?
Go down before.
And so that's what's happening. But what do you do? I mean, what do you do about that? What do you do about that?
So Brad raises a very good point about that. And go ahead. You can say it better than I can say it.
Well, I do think one of the referees have discretion there, right? If they think it's being done simply to slow down the game, they have some discretion within here. But I would guess part of the hesitation is if 9 or 10 guys went down for Pitt yesterday, just to use as an example, if they flag somebody for that and one of those guys comes back that it was an actual injury, and Pitt releases that, or whomever releases that the following Monday or Tuesday, that person was really injured and they got flagged. You talk about an uproar, and it only takes one. They could be 90% right that the guys were not that injured and they were doing it as gamesmanship. But if you get one where they're really injured, that backlash would be massive.
Yes,
I think crews would be suspended, guys would be removed. I mean, it would be absolute chaos. So that's a really hard. What are you supposed to do with that? Right? We talked about that earlier. It just doesn't seem like there's an easy way to definitively know that and fix that as an issue. But it's clearly an issue. It's clearly an issue. We knew it was going to be an issue. We talked about it before the season.
Well,
and it's going to continue to be an issue with Rich and the way this offense runs. How do you fix that?
Did Rich have? And Rich had a great. You got to watch his post-game press conference because it's hilarious the way he phrased it, really drawing attention to it without getting in trouble. Okay, is there a rule modification? We could say if you go out with an injury, you can't come back in that series.
I think that's fair.
That might be a nice step.
Because if the player really is hurt, doesn't matter.
Right.
Correct.
Right. He wasn't going to be able to come in anyway.
There might be something into that. You might have to look at that. I'm sure there's a million examples of why that doesn't work. It's hard to officiate that. I get it, but something's got to be done. I mean, it's altering games.
Speaking of rules, we know what the call was on the sack of Holstein of a roughing the quarterback, which just looked like, as you said definitively on the broadcast, Tony, looked just like a sack. But was there something else that happened that we couldn't see that indicated roughing?
In watching the interaction between the official who called it and Rich, it seemed to me as though the official was indicating that the Mountaineer player put his shoulder down after the player had gone down on the ground and gave him the, to quote an NFL referee terminology, gave him the business. That's what the claim was. I thought it was ridiculous.
What about the call at the end of the half?
Okay.
Go into that. Explain that.
I would love to be able to come to you all and give you a clear explanation of what happened at the end of the half and why it was adjudicated the way that it was, but I don't. I talked to multiple people at halftime and then after the game, and I still do not clearly have an understanding of how that was put out there, because I've never seen a personal foul not be assessed. Whether that was at the end of the half or whether that was to start the second half, that basically became a phantom penalty that did not exist for a late hit.
Flag just disappeared, right?
Yeah. How does that happen? That's my question. And we'll find out here tonight, tomorrow. Someone's got to come up and give us, and I hope they're right. For their case, I hope they're right. But I still don't understand how you can commit a penalty and it never gets assessed. That's what I don't understand.
They did not pick up the flag.
They did not pick up the flag. They never said they picked up the flag. It's a personal foul. How does that not? That's a late hit. If there was 1 second, they said there was 1 second left.
But
correct?
The only thing that makes sense is they got together and decided it wasn't a personal foul, because otherwise you have to assess the penalty somewhere.
He called the personal foul. He said it when he announced it.
And am I making this up? I've watched football for a long time. I think of all the cliche things that are said, the half can't end on a penalty has been said 4 billion times.
By the defense.
So, yeah. So it's either it can't be that, or maybe you could assess it to start the, but if you didn't, it had to be picked up. What would the other explanation be?
I had the clock operator at halftime explaining it to me, and he says, you cannot run a play if there's 3 or less seconds to go in the half and you don't have a timeout remaining, which fits West Virginia's case. And I said, but wait a second. If there's 1 second and the play is dead,
yes,
then why can't the center snap it, and when the quarterback touches it, the clock starts, there's 0-0-0, and you run a play?
Right.
I don't understand that. So, I mean, football has got unbelievably difficult rules at times, and this is going to be one of those where someone is going to come out here and give a clear explanation in the next 12, 24 hours as to why that happened. But at this moment, I do not know.
They gave an the ref mic was bad, but they gave an explanation, but it was still convoluted. What did they say?
By the way, why can we put people on different planets and we can't get the referee's mic to work consistently? Can someone give me that answer?
Fair question. Didn't work right the whole game.
Well, no, I mean, my cell phone doesn't work for a 3-house stretch in my neighborhood. Why is that the case? So, 3 specific houses, it just drops. I got the FBI circulating somewhere. I got a trap. 3 houses, Hoppy. So
Narduzzi was not happy with the officials either, because they committed 14 penalties.
And maybe one more that wasn't assessed.
There's maybe one more. Did you? I tell you what, coaches are into it, but Tony, well, you had the monitor. You had the video monitor, right? So I'm listening to you. I'm watching the game. There were a lot of cutaway shots to angry coaches in that game. It was some great stuff. At the end of the half, Rich had a classic. He had a finger up in the face. He was going.
He was fine. It was classic. He was finding everybody, and then my favorite part of him finding everybody as he's walking, and you think it's over because he's already said his
piece. He's never over.
There's an official to the side of him. He turns and starts yelling back at that guy before he goes in.
He went full Glenville, didn't he?
It was a good one.
And Jed always tries.
Young Rich was back there.
Jed always tries to take it Coach, there's something. And Rich just said, I don't know how you have to come in the game half, not ever. He was still on fire.
Good.
Well, we'll get more into this, but the Pitt injuries seem to be a lot of dehydration out there, a lot of cramping.
Oh, yeah, a lot
at the end of the game for Pitt. That's why they should visit Comax Business Systems, because Comax has these unbelievable water machines. If Pitt had 4 of those Comax water machines back there, the I-12 water cooler, it produces gallons of cold and gallons of hot water for your business or your sideline, whatever you might need. Visit Comax Business Systems to learn more about their water systems. Get away from the plastic water jugs and bottles. Visit ComaxWV.com. That's ComaxWV.com.
Can I ask you another question, a fishing question?
Sure.
Okay. So on the delay of game call against West Virginia, where the Pitt guy was
Yeah,
jogging
another
off
one.
the field. So
That's another one.
Did that start? But was that precipitated
Yes.
by West Virginia making a late substitute?
Sincere Bowers ran out there. Then they weren't sure if he was supposed to be out there. He got to the painted number and did a U-turn.
Okay.
That allows Pitt to make a substitution, and they drained
the clock.
clock as a result of that. And
so that's really kind of on West Virginia. I mean, the Pitt guy took
yeah,
advantage of that.
you wouldn't have given Pitt the opportunity if you didn't make a sub.
Yeah. Okay.
Can I say something
Of course you can.
about the injury situation?
Yeah.
Or the guys just taking soccer flops in that game. So I don't know where you stand on karma. Don't know if you believe in it. Don't know if you buy into it. But this is kind of my thing.
Okay.
You can't cheat the game.
Hmm.
You can't cheat the game. You know how the game's supposed to be played. And some might call it gamesmanship, but I say the football gods, small case G, the football gods atop the sky last night looked down on that and said, nah, that's not how actually this thing is supposed to go. So there needs to be a penalty paid, and you're going to blow a double-figure lead in this game because you keep jacking around and telling your guys to drop down. And the football gods went, can't cheat the game. You got to pay the price.
So you're an instant karma guy.
Instant karma is what
All
you
right.
got.
Okay.
And
All
the
right.
long-term karma is that since sending out the mock tweet of Neil Brown last year after Neil made the comment about having fun, Pitt has now lost 7 of its last 9 games. That's fun.
And you win that. You win that game, and now the series goes away for 3 years. But you got it for a while. You can hang on to that for a while till you meet him again in whatever it is, 2029.
Texter. Turn
Mike.
your microphone on.
They lost how many?
7 of the last 9. Yeah. Texter. Third backyard.
They lost 6 in a row to end last season, right?
Correct. They won 2 this
Yeah.
year against Duquesne and Central, and they got beat here, so that's 7-9, right?
Mm-hmm.
Texter.
Yeah, so they've lost 7 of the last 9 games. Yeah, you got that right.
Since he sent that tweet out mocking Neil.
Sure.
Texter, third backyard brawl in a row that not going for it on 4th and short in plus territory in the 4th quarter yields to a collapse. Glad to be on the right side this time. Think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Not going for it. That was huge in this series as the
How about Rich going for it in his own territory there?
35-yard line.
woohoo, woohoo. That's when he went into the Mountaineer mash.
But I felt like you had to at that point. Like I thought game was on the line, make a play.
I don't disagree.
I
I don't disagree.
mean, even if they had not gotten it, I still think you would have said, yeah, you had to go for it there. I think.
But I was talking more, I guess, more from just a massive moment in that game that probably gets overlooked because there were so many other massive moments. That was a big decision and then execution to go ahead and get it and keep that drive alive.
Yeah.
It might come back up, but we haven't talked enough. We talked about it a little, but we haven't talked enough about the 9-man offensive line. That still makes me giggle.
I know, we got to get it.
You were very excited about that.
9 offensive linemen.
Now, here's what you have.
I call that the all-beef patty lineup. Right?
There was a lot of you'd like to have check total weight on that.
Yeah, we should do that. Thousands of pounds. Texter, my almost 4-month-old's first backyard brawl. I couldn't put her in a chair or anything because we came back and won. So he's a karma guy. Like, he thinks if he puts her down that the game's going to go. I was screaming for them to get on that fumble in the overtime, and then she started to cry, but it's okay. We got the dub. Can't wait to take her in person in 4 years, regardless where it's at. Great win, Logan and Mannington. Texter, I always support the Mountaineers no matter what. Fake injuries and all that other BS they try, but ultimately we stomped some Pitt Panther ass. Done, burnt everything burnable. Got the kids fired up. We're all fired up. Let's go. John in Alabama, boy, it's nice to be a tough team again. We physically whipped that Panther tail. Toughness won us that game. Physicality, mentally. You kidding me? That Nico came in and delivered after being pulled. And Rich definitely really is a better coach now than his last brawl. Not as stubborn. Realized he made a mistake by pulling Nico. Swallowed his pride. put him back in. Amazing, fellas. Let's go have some more fun next week. Let's go Mountaineers.
I don't think it was a mistake to pull Nico. I mean, you needed a lift. You thought Scotty Fox would give it to you. And by the way, Fox did initially. You got that long completion, and then
We led him to a touchdown.
So he's a young guy who made mistakes.
A lot of people, right? A lot of people had asked that question in the texts. Why did you put Nico in there? And so
You mean Scotty Fox?
I'm Scotty Fox. And so the first 3 possessions for Nico were field goal attempt. They missed it. Punt, touchdown. And then after that, West Virginia had 1, 2, 3, 4 consecutive drives at the end of the first half that led to punts. Mm-hmm. And so Rich is thinking, okay, spark. And he goes 3 plays, 2 yards on Fox's first, and then 7 plays, 80 yards on Fox's second. So he gave them the spark. And then obviously interception on the next drive by Fox. He does not pull him there, probably thinking, okay, let's get you to the sideline. Deep breaths, go back again. The second pick, obviously unexpected, unanticipated, and certainly undesired. And then obviously he went back to Jalen Henderson and then to Nico, which went field goal, touchdown, touchdown.
Yeah, I think that's the simplest explanation. There were moments in that game when it looked like you were going to need different skill sets in there to try and do something. The running game was having trouble early until Ty Edwards was inserted. Then it started, but Pitt was getting so much pressure on you. It looked like, so that's why you try and mix some things in, and you bring Scotty in to see if you can throw it, but can also run it. And it didn't work. And as I said earlier, it's wild that the spark ended up being Nico being reinserted. Yeah, that would the spark he was looking for was going back to the original starter.
Yeah. And they apparently they know well, and you guys know Nico, that's a guy that can come back in. He's not over there sulking. Yeah, he can come back in. So
JB lives in Roanoke, Virginia. 3 guys. What a damn football game. The definition of a backyard brawl. That's the college football we love. I found myself not wanting to leave the stadium tonight. My wife finally drugged me out of there. I'm not a crier, but boy, when Country Roads hit after that 4th down stop, I had a tear drop in my eye. What a magical night in Morgantown. My voice will be gone for days. Let's go Mountaineers, and always ESP. It's like they always say, you improve your most from week 2 to week 3. JB.
That crowd was something, Tony.
Excellent. Here's what we were referring to earlier. I love the wry smile on the face of the West Virginia State trooper who was standing behind Rich as he was giving the officials a piece of his mind after the weird sequence before halftime. I love the show. JD, Southern Coalfields. So here's Rich giving it to the official, and we have a state trooper there, I believe, from the great state of West Virginia, and he kind of like he's looking at the old referee's name. Yep, what he says. That's right, what he says.
I like having the police there too. Maybe that helps a little bit with the officials. Got a policeman standing there, hands on hips.
Texter Jeremy in Cooperstown. Serious question, guys. Did Rich hide Ty Edwards from everyone? No. I think Ty Edwards, obviously, he was one of the 4 that got late eligibility, and then he had to get back into shape. He was behind, had not practiced with the team during all that eligibility stuff. Then he had a little bit of a nag injury and then got back into it. So, it took that long for him to get to go. I would suggest you listen to his post-game presser. He said some really interesting things about mindset, prayer, and dealing with anxiety.
Really?
Says he deals with anxiety, does not like big crowds. which is not funny, but he has to work through that. He has to work through that.
What a workhorse, too. That wasn't just where he came in because it was a couple plays down by the goal line and you wanted to mash him up in there. That's 25 carries for a dude that hasn't been practicing full-time. So it was tremendous. And give a little credit to John and Rocky Gianola there for
you know what?
winning the case. I mean, they should get – you want to give out some game balls? Give a game ball to John and Rocky Gianola for, in particular, getting Ty Edwards eligible there through his case.
Absolutely.
Congratulations.
And he is a couple things. One, he got 25 carries. He got banged up and was still in there.
Limping some,
still in there, first of all. And second of all, he's deceptively fast. He's a big guy with long strides.
Yeah, exactly right.
He shot through there a couple of those times. I was like, that's not the scouting report on him. Yeah. Big dude.
He played up. Is that Unidome up there in northern Iowa?
Unidome.
That's where he played.
Very good. Yeah. Cedar Falls.
Cereal capital of the world, I believe.
That's Cedar Rapids.
Same thing.
Cedars get confusing, I understand.
How many? What do they got there?
What?
How many Cedars?
Cedar Falls, Cedar Rapids.
Oh, there's 2 of them.
I think there's 2 different ones. He was in Cedar Falls.
Mm-hmm.
I might have been through both of them.
Probably.
You were in Cedar Falls, for sure.
I was in Cedar
I don't remember
Falls?
if you were in Cedar Rapids.
No, I was in Cedar Falls. Beautiful town.
On your big bike race.
Beautiful town.
I went
Wasn't
to
a
school
race.
right by there. That's where I went.
That's right.
Played in the Unidome Hop there in high school.
Did you?
Dr. Pepper All-Star Basketball Classic.
Really? How'd you do?
Fine. Eldon Miller didn't offer me a scholarship, though, after the game. He was the UNI coach at the time.
He was there and he saw you? And
Yeah, it's better. You would have never been one of the 3 guys if he did.
He'd already offered it to Cam Johnson, guard from Iowa there. Took my spot.
Well.
Missed. I told Eldon Miller that later when he came to the Coliseum.
missed on you?
Told him.
Dexter.
Anyway, Ty Edwards. Great game. Legend.
This goes back into the what do you superstitiously believe karma stuff. Justin in West Milford. I'm not saying that this keyed the comeback, but good things happen every time I raise my middle finger with the broadcast showed Narduzzi. Happy to do my part.
Well, whatever.
I mean, I don't know if that worked.
Whatever works for you.
Yeah. Hi, this is Dominic from Hurricane.
Dominic Ho, great guy.
He's a great guy.
Talked to him before the game.
Right before the game?
Yeah, he was at the food court.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to come here and say thank you. You guys were 100% right. Brad's saying it's never as bad as it looks stuck with me. That's kind of the mentality I had going in. Even if we played terrible, I was going to be there, be loud, because you never know. That game was cinema. I ended up in the front row of the student section with my friends from the club tennis team. The ending of that game was the best game atmosphere I've ever experienced. The student section was rocking. I'm texting this a couple hours after the game. I'm excited for Morgantown to be rocking tonight. It was really also nice to see Brad. My dad wanted to tell you hello after I sent him that picture.
Well, that's nice. Dad John.
John Ho.
Yeah.
Texter.
Shout out to the host.
I watched my son, RJ Jackson, score his first boys high school soccer goal for Nitro in their 10-zip win today. Then I witnessed Rich Rod bringing a West Virginia team back like the Louisville game in 05. That very first WVU game I ever attended in person was the 07 Pitt game. It's haunted me since. Rich Rod killed the curse tonight. Let's go Mountaineers. Glenn from Glen Ferris. 3 guys, a victory for the ages, a victory that seemed impossible in recent times, a victory that despite all things that typically doom the world champion Mountaineers, including horrific officiating, a victory that seems only Rich and his blue-collar approach to the game and team culture would elicit, a victory for this great state of the university. I will proudly be wearing the old gold and blue in Lawrence next weekend, and I'm damn proud of the grit and determination shown by our team this weekend. Glenn Ferris. Attendance today, 62,108. I did some small research. It appears biggest crowd since September 2000 against Miami. Can we get some spreads on stats to check this? Zach from Atlanta. You can go to wvustats.com, Zach, and you can live in all of those stats there. They got all the attendances. Here we go. Now, here's our tailgate pictures. This is Jordan, who used to be from Houston, but now from Connecticut. It was good to see all 3 of you guys, including Dave, not Tony, took a shot at me. As always, I appreciated the friendly, always a man of the people, Hoppy, for spending time with my best friend's daughter and roommate from Pitt.
That's right.
All right, Braden. So there's Hoppy, and he's got those 2 girls there that go to Pitt, Hoppy.
Yes.
And they have their Pitt shirts on, bless their hearts.
Yeah.
And Braden, you can kind of roll through these. And then they got a big group picture with all these cats there, no pun intended. Look at all those people there. And Dave's in that picture. Homeless Dave's out there.
In there.
Yeah, he's on the right side.
We were very, and I welcomed the young ladies from Pitt.
Nice.
They said, we're nice. Glad to have you here. And I think they felt a little uneasy.
I would too.
But everybody was, look, the thing about our tailgate is there is such a great vibe.
Very
People
friendly.
in a good mood.
Yeah.
Enjoying a beverage and Rev Kev, lemonade, Duca's cocktails,
Pepperoni rolls.
Swill dog.
Do you know who else? Do you know who was there? You were gone, Tony, because you had to go to work. Friend of the program, Drexel coach Zach Spiker.
I saw Spike sent some pictures. They had a good time.
He had like
and former WVU women's soccer assistant, his wife, of course, the former Jen Dupre, commonly known as Duper.
Yeah.
They were all there.
Zach sent me a picture of his 3 boys all sharing with 3 different straws in a big lemonade. And I said, hey,
he couldn't spring for 3?
I said, hey, tight ass, why don't you buy each one of your kids a lemonade?
He had, and for whatever, he had his 3, and there were like 4 others. Had
That's
like 7.
That's Timmy's kids.
He had like 7 kids.
That's Timmy's kid. It's his brother Tim. I don't see Tim around anywhere.
No,
Zach's
Tim
was
was
like a
no-show.
babysitter or something.
Tim was there. I talked to Tim after
Tim
the
came
game.
to the food court? He was there?
Talked to him after the game.
Tim wouldn't make the food court.
After the law school steps walk, both of us a little gasped, but still had a nice conversation with Tim.
Oh, I didn't know. See, Tim refuses to come to the food courts a couple years in a row now. I don't know exactly what that's all about.
Yeah, really.
James, also known as the lawman from Fairmont. What a game. Back and forth grit. Badly officiated. Beautiful mess. That's what the Brawl is. I'm not sure how y'all feel, but this should be the end of any quarterback controversy. The win, even nicer and more sweet, I was able to swing by the tailgate after work on Friday and pick up a Grateful Bread pepperoni roll and a cold 6-pack of Connection 304.
Excellent, James.
And then I got to listen to Jennifer Cooper's set. She was amazing. I was going to get my picture made with Brad, but he was too deep in conversation about the HMI spread, which is the Hyena Mention Index. Let's flush the Ahia loss, take our blood pressure medicine, keep this going the rest of the season. Thank you, James. Jeff from Bridgeport, my daughter and I had a blast at the tailgate, talking to Tony, Brad, and I'm assuming Hoppy was looking for the Gomart in the right. Here's a picture with Brad. Looking forward to the next one. What a game. Tons. And this one ranks right there in the instant classics in my book. I'm the guy that talked to you about being Rich Rod's equipment manager when he was at Glenville in 1994.
Yes, that was fun.
That was awesome. Daughter's a freshman studying forensics.
Really?
Yeah, she said they rush him right in there. She's a freshman. She's already getting the dead bodies and everything right off the start.
Really?
Do a little introductory course. Yeah. Tony, thanks for taking the time today. Tony, Brad, and part-time Hoppy, as we talked about, how is that for spoiling the moment for Pitt? Huge credit to a hell of an effort by players and fans to come out and support the team. So here's another picture. I love these guys. This is Big Tony on the right from Daniels, Bob from Maryland. They're all Greenbrier County people. Mm-hmm. And those are some big dudes. Because I'm 6'4", and I'm right there. They're right there. So those guys all got involvement in corrections. And the guy on the left,
right, yeah.
That's Bob. He works security for the Commanders and the Ravens, in addition to a few other things. And they were with a group of people that also had corrections background. I got me a story about when Martha Stewart was in the prison in Alderson.
Did you?
I said, give me a Martha Stewart story. They gave me one.
They did?
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah,
Said she was very,
see those guys.
Said she was very quiet.
Thanks for saying hello. Big Tony and Bob.
Yeah.
Right.
Hello, first-time texter, long-time listener, Andrew Gowdy. The Three Guys food court is legit. All 3 guys there, and I had the pulled pork, lemonade drink, both really good. I got to say hey to Brad. I stressed about parking all week. I moved my time coming to Morgantown 3 times, but it all worked out. First time I went to a West Virginia Pitt game. There are the games that make you love football and the ones you want to be there in person. What a great Saturday. There's a picture of Brad, and there he is. That's Andrew. Thanks to, by the way, behind there, Clear Mountain Bank. Thanks for being the presenting sponsor of the Three Guys Food Court. Hi, guys. Started off Saturday with some Rev Kev barbecue in a pan to bring to the Blue Lot. I've got to absolutely say it is great. What a great way to start the day. Game was the best way to finish it. Let's go Mountaineers. Camden from Morgantown. So what he did, he got the platter. So that's the brisket in the back. You got the chicken and the pork, and that is tremendous.
Yeah. I talked to Camden on the way out. He had his hands full carrying that out.
Well, sure.
Little sauce right on the top.
That
taking
gets
it back
hot,
to their
too.
Tailgate.
It gets nice and hot when they serve that.
Thanks, Camden.
Texter, here's a chronology of this dude's day. 8 a.m. I ordered Mountaineer biscuits at Tudor's in Lewisburg, and I hit the road. Noon, tailgating at the law school. 3:20, watch the Pride of West Virginia. 3:30, wiping tears from my eyes, singing the national anthem as the West Virginia Air Guard flew over. Kickoff to the end of the game, yell in support of the ears. I cussed the referees for trying to give the game to Pitt. Wonder why Rich Rod changed quarterbacks. Wait to hear Sweet Caroline so we could unload on Pitt. Sing our state anthem after one of the most exciting games in a long time. 11 p.m., I finally arrived in my motel in Bridgeport. What a great day to be a Mountaineer wherever you may be.
Only surprised you didn't get Flatwoods Gomart in there.
Could have got that in there. Probably well, he's always stayed in Bridgeport. He's on his way down now, probably. Neil from Greenbrier County writes in. This is kind of neat. Have you ever seen this before? Got a little bit of a graphic here. And it says, I'm from West Virginia. I have a Tudor's Biscuit World. You ain't got that. That must be awful. You're right. Got to have a tutors. Over 70 available, and also taking on franchisees. Final couple of these. Hey, it's Rue from Buchanan. Let's get a 3-guy shout-out to my boy So for hosting a backyard brawl at his camp in northern Pennsylvania. So look at these guys. You think these guys were lit up? Down at the camp, they all had the same shirts on.
Wow.
Something about moonshining on those shirts. And who the hell is Ty Edwards? Let's go, Rich Rod. Yeah, they learned, didn't they? Out there camped there in northern PA. All had the same shirts on. Texter, hello, longtime listener. First time I've texted. What a game. Experience almost over the emotion, but I haven't felt like that at Mountaineer Field in a long time. My dad passed away in April, and while this season has been a little tougher than I'd expected, not being able to call him during and after games, I couldn't help but feel him there last night. It was unbelievable. But the day couldn't have started any better. 3 guys tailgate, watching these 2 legends hold court, make everyone's day who met them. I was with buddies Josh and Chad, and we said whatever happens in the game we're cool with, because that just made our day. But thankfully the Mountaineers made it even better. Keep up the good efforting. Signed by Todd in Columbus. And here's a picture of you 2 guys with those dudes from out there in Columbus. That's great.
Yeah, they were awesome. Todd's a firefighter.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
We get a lot of law enforcement type folks there.
Yeah, those guys were great. I know we're going to run some more pictures here, so there's some more shout-outs coming, but my guy Hayden yesterday, attending his first backyard brawl, couldn't have been more excited, thought one of the keys to the game, pressure from West Virginia, he nailed it. So
6
congratulations, Hayden.
Yeah. All right, let's Braden, let's jump through some of these pictures. We've got a montage of photos over the course of a very heavily photographed weekend. So this guy, this is freaking awesome. I want to make 1,000% sure that I get his name right, but I believe it's Rick Klein. So, this is it. So this gentleman's name is Rob Klein.
Yes,
Rob Klein,
Rob.
right? So Rob, from Wirt County, raised in Elizabeth, lives out of state now, owns a post office in Palestine, West Virginia.
Excuse me?
Owns a post office, Palestine, West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
How many people you know that own a post office? Rob.
Well, yeah.
That little guy. So, yeah, that was
Maybe
good.
one other.
Met him and his sister. There's Julie Latanzi.
The best.
She came in. Yeah, she's the best ever. She came in and got barbecue. Good to see Julie.
That was Friday because Kirchhoff's there at a social outing in a tie.
So there's all 3 of the 3 guys, and we have a very special person on the left, Hoppy. That's the person that you wanted to meet so badly from Grateful Bread.
Yeah. Was it Kayla?
Correct. And I bought sourdough, chocolate chip cookies, and pepperoni rolls from her. And I had the sourdough bread this morning, and because the pepperoni rolls are gone and the cookies are gone. It's freaking awesome.
So I was over talking to Kayla, and unsolicited, my oldest daughter came walking over to Kayla on her own and said, by the way, that's one of the best pepperoni rolls I've ever had.
Thank you. Yeah, it is. So if you get a chance to try her bread, it's great. So there's a senator, a couple old boys there.
The Davises from here in Morgantown.
Oh, you know those guys. Okay, sure. The Davises. Keep on flipping
Josh
there, Braden, if you would. Josh and Jeff. Once again, Senator, we got 22, 23. All we miss is Rodney Gallagher's jersey there. We could have the 24 for the straight. There's us with Kayla in front of the Grateful Bread stand there, and she was tremendous. She's terrific. Try our bread, Grateful Bread. You guys with a couple there. Just people just showing
that
up.
was Rick and Matt. Originally from Preston County, they do have mineral rights here in Mon County.
Why wouldn't they?
Yeah, because of course they do now in Youngstown.
When I said something, we were talking. I said, "So you have land?" And he said, "No, I have mineral rights."
Hold it. Stop right here. Yeah, it has the mineral rights. Stop right here. Billy Bob and Cece.
Oh yeah, great story.
From Arizona, but of course own land in Putnam County.
Why wouldn't?
Because why wouldn't you? You're in Arizona. You own land in Putnam County, where they're originally from. First backyard brawl game.
Right.
For them.
Ever?
So congratulations. Yeah.
Awesome.
Billy Bob's been a Mountaineer fan his whole life. First backyard brawl game. So congratulations.
Awesome. Go ahead, Braden. Flip through another one here.
Okay, stop here. This is a great story too.
Good posture on that guy.
We've heard a couple of these. That's, well, you know what? Jeff Atha.
Military?
Yeah, Air Force guy. So thanks for your service. Really fun conversation. He was super emotional. First game since 2011 he'd been to. First game without his dad.
Ow.
So he said it was emotional just walking into the surrounding area there, right there, and that was obviously pregame. So I imagine he ended up with a pretty emotional, fun night for him. But that was awesome talking to Jeff.
Absolutely. Great to see that.
There's the
There's the lemon, man. I told you all about the lemon, and there's a P1 Jennings.
Is that Jennings? That's Jennings.
Yeah, Jennings is there getting himself a big lemonade. We got the human lemon there, and person standing inside the lemon. Lemon went well.
Great lemon.
Yeah,
That's a big lemon.
that is a large lemon. Wait till you see it. I love the lemon.
And they just, at the end of the day, they just closed up with him inside. On the way.
Oh, now this is a heck of a shot.
Yeah.
These are all the folks at Buffalo Wild Wings the other night after we completed our show. They were all wearing efforting T-shirts, thanks to Vision Homes and Rocky Simmons. Did a great job of
Thank you, Rocky.
providing the folks there with musical entertainment and then the shirts. And that's the Buffalo Wild Wings. We'll be back the night Thursday night before the Utah game. We'll be doing another live show.
That's a great. Back up 1 second there. Back up just a second. That's a great team picture they did. They were all organized. Look at that. Organized right in there.
Yeah. Well, you deliver.
Team picture.
You serve all those people. You got to have organization. You're not running around there helter-skelter.
Our girl Carrie over there gets it done.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Honor Huff was our special three-point shooter.
Awesome. Just seeing a couple fans. Just a couple fans.
Just a couple fans that were there. Okay, give me the next one there. Another
Honor was
fan
awesome.
there.
He was great.
That girl there told me she's going to get Honor's jersey when it becomes available.
Jersey T-shirt, I think. I don't know if it's a full jersey, but they're waiting for Honor Huff gear to be released.
Honor won the three-point shooting contest.
I was told that.
Yeah, we didn't. We haven't done the show. We haven't done a show since we had the shooting thing.
Correct.
Right.
And so you tell that story, but Honor was awesome. He was guest of this podcast.
Yes.
You could see the personality there and the smells. He was awesome. There was one moment I was over with him, and there were two ladies there come up from the Hurricane area, love basketball. So talked to them before. They were so excited to be there. So they were winning one of the autographed basketballs from Honor that we had. So I said to Honor, hey, let's go over and present them the ball. And as we're walking over there, I got stopped, and someone was talking to me. And by the time I got done with that conversation, I look up. Honor was already over there on his own, sat down, and I hear him saying, thank you so much for coming. Like he gave a better speech to him than I would have.
He came and he hung around, talked to everybody. He's a fun guy.
Great.
Yeah.
I think fans are going to like him.
Go ahead.
Musical performance. That's McKenna and Keegan. Mm-hmm. Keegan is the reason we have live music at the food court. A year ago, he came up, told Homeless Dave, hey, I'll play for you. And that started it all. And those two performed on Friday night, and they were absolutely fabuloso. Great live entertainment.
He came back on Saturday.
Oh, did he play again?
No, he didn't play.
He was just hanging around?
Just there hanging around.
Hit me with another one if you could, Braden, any more? We got a couple of fans there, just happy. I mean, that's basically the definition of the food court right there. Just happy people.
Happy to be there.
Just happy to be there. Probably Homeless Dave probably took that photo. There's another one, Hopster. With the two Pitt girls, and there's kind of a shot, food court live. You are looking not live at the food court. We invite you to come in before the Utah game, and we'll do it again. Big Lemon will probably be there, and the barbecue, and
Big Lemon,
all that kind of stuff.
Thanks
Big Lemon,
Parkersburg Brewing folks, Connection 304, Jim and Michelle, awesome.
Yep, just fantastic. So, as I said, great weather, and it was really, really good.
Yeah. Hey, big thanks to everybody that came to Buffalo Wild Wings and came to the food court. That is a blast.
We had a lot of
Always
fun.
A highlight of the weekend to see everybody.
How'd the trivia contest go?
Excuse me?
When?
At Buffalo Wild Wings.
Better.
Improved from week 1 to week 2.
Yeah, Hoppy, you got better. How do you think you did?
Well, my role was diminished, but I think that's one of the reasons maybe it went better. There is
I don't know that you need to sulk about that. That happened.
Why
We were looking for a spark. We were looking for a spark, had to step in and provide one. You came back and did a nice job when you re-entered. Don't sulk, be a leader. You don't get to pick your spots when you want to be a leader.
Someone might need to have a conversation with Nico.
Speaking of Nico, I want to plug our website. Go to wvmetronews.com and see the picture. See the lead story picture. There is a great picture there.
Hoppy, you got to remember that by the time they listen to this, it's going to be off of that.
Oh, I forgot.
It won't be the lead, but it'll be on there still.
It'll still be there.
Describe the picture you wanted to see.
It's after the game, and it's Nico and Rich Rod.
Yeah, it's a great picture.
Hugging.
Yeah,
and you see Nico. I mean, it's just.
Yeah.
Well, that was fun, boys. That's why we all come back and love sports, is it not?
Yes,
right? And you as we said the other day, you have to go through the lows in order to experience how high the highs are. So I'm happy for everybody in that program, but Mountaineer Nation, that they got to enjoy what was an historic backyard brawl.
Yeah. I'm with you. All right. We're done. Back on Thursday with our preview of West Virginia and Kansas as the Mountaineers prepare to open Big 12 conference play Saturday night in Lawrence, newly refabbed stadium. And Kansas was off this past week. They'll be rested.
Well, as Brad would say, keep coming.
I'll be ready. Three Guys brought to us by Go-Mart. Get yourself a Go-Mart rewards card and immediately save on your food and your fuel. Visit gomart.com or download the app, Go-Mart. By Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. They sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com. Tudor's Biscuit World. Start your day homemade way with a Tudor's biscuit. Going to get that big tater. Three Guys brought to us by Comax Business Systems, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years. Comax. And by Jan Dill's Attorneys at Law. They won't. They simply won't take no for an answer. And Spreads on Stats from Conley's CPA Group, providing value beyond numbers.
We have a sponsor yet for Obvious Observations.
People have been inquiring. We're efforting on that. Thank you to Braden, our producer. Back again on Thursday. We'll drop another episode. If you haven't subscribed yet, either to the pod or to the video, which is available on YouTube's, please do. I don't know what that does, but I guess when people subscribe, it's good.
Does it help the algorithm?
Helps the algorithm. That's
Probably
what
leave
it
a
does.
review, too, on
Sure. Leave
the
a
podcast version if you want.
Yeah, we'd be good. All right. See y'all. Thank you.